You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Hey.
All right, here we are again. It's Code Rad, and this week we are discussing CLAWS of AXOS. Cool, and there's a lot to discuss about this episode.
It's a very cool title.
Very cool title, yeah, much better than the colon of Axos, which I think was the original title of the episode. A lot of interesting visual stuff, and I did not create any visuals to show. So if you are just stumbling across this recording and wondering what we're talking about, definitely check out this episode. There's some very curious design choices in this episode. So much so, I mean, at a point, I thought that the story might have been some kind of metaphor for digestion. I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but there was a bit. I felt the colon theme went a bit beyond the design of the bad guy's spaceship.
I didn't think about that, but that makes that. Yeah, because the monsters look like they had like kind of intestines hanging off of them. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Or I was thinking that I thought they looked like parasites, something that you might see in a colonoscopy if maybe you had been eating some raw fish or something like that. But yeah, the monsters, you see them in the first few seconds. Very, very scary, very gross. I think this would be like in my Hall of Fame for Doctor Who, just like ultimate Doctor Who episodes. It's with a bit of a larger budget and taking like the Doctor and Joe and the Brigadier out. This feels like a classic British horror movie from the 70s. Maybe like on par something like Murders in the Manchester Morgue. Is that the name of it? Or Zombies in the Manchester Morgue. But it has like a really like sort of uneasy, bleak feeling about it. It's got that electronic score. It's got the really gross monsters. Like whereas Pyramids of Mars feels like a Hammer movie. This felt like I'm not sure what some of the other companies were, but one of the alternative horror British movies, because I would say those Axons or whatever they were just about as scary as a zombie, if not worse.
Yeah, no, they were pretty frightening looking. I was going to say, are you getting too much light? Is it too bright?
No, you look fine to me.
Okay,
no,
good. Okay, fine. That's good. Okay. Let me just chill this way a little bit. Okay, so yeah, I like this episode very much. I think more for the look of it. It's very trippy, very just love the backgrounds they had and how they did special effects with like a lot of hallucinations. I think we saw in this episode, as I recall. So yeah, very, very trippy, very psychedelic looking episode.
True. Yeah. Very, very much of the 70s.
Yes, which I did really enjoy that. I thought, well, I guess to start with, I guess when you first, I guess, I don't know about you, I first saw Doctor Who when I was like about 14, I think, and I could really accept the lack of special effects a lot more back then than I guess I do now. But so when you first see the ship, kind of like at the very beginning, the colon ship, it's just like, wow, okay, this is how it's going to be. But I think,
right,
some very good performances by the cast.
Sure,
and pretty well written story. I thought were I think, very well done. I think it was a little bit maybe choppy in some parts. I think the episode didn't really flow as well as it could have. I think like first we see Joe and the Doctor with the lobster claws, they're held captive, and the next scene they're free, and then they're back there again. So I thought maybe just
Sure.
yeah, maybe just a little more smoother storytelling. But um I gotta say I don't know if you know the story behind this episode, but it's from 1971, and this was one of the ones that was missing for years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they destroyed
Okay.
so all Hartnell, Trout, and Pertwee, all they all um weren't safe for the junking policy. So
Yeah, yeah.
it junked, and they did find another copy, I think from either the US, I think from Canada, station in Canada had it. But I think it's a copy of a copy of a copy.
Okay.
So the picture quality isn't quite
Hmm.
the same through all 4 episodes. It's a little bit different. It's
Okay.
colors seem a little faded or sort of like a little bit washy. It's kind of like how back in the 80s and 90s when you would go to a Comic Con and there'd be a guy with VHS tapes, bootlegs.
Oh,
It's kind of like
for sure. Yeah. Oh,
it's like
I
that.
had many of those.
I did
I went to
too.
Chiller Theater Con in the 90s, and yeah, there was this one guy. His operation was called Video Junkie,
Okay, I think I've heard of him. Yeah.
and he'd have like, if you bought 5 videotapes, he'd sell them for like $11 each. I forget how much they were individually, and I'd order like 10 at a time. Movies that were not available on DVD or VHS. Jean Rollin comes to mind, a French horror director, erotic horror, stuff that is pretty easily available now, I think. But back
Oh
then,
yeah.
it was not around. So, yeah, stuff like that. I bought that by the pound.
Yeah, the Comic Con's really great to go back then for like things like getting episodes of, Star Blazers and Battle of the Planets and Speed
Right.
Racer
Oh, I
and
can imagine.
Ultraman
Yeah. Hmm.
and just, VHS. They were, taped from somebody's TV and from God knows what year, just I mean the quality kind of iffy. It was iffy, but or the sound, but but still you couldn't get them anywhere else until years later when they would finally
Mm,
come out on video or and DVD. But yeah, back
mm.
then that was one of the great things about going to convention. You find you could find things that you wouldn't normally find anywhere else.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it changed over the years as sometimes. I mean, surprisingly, one of the agencies that, we're getting kind of off topic here, but one of the the IRS would show up, because I guess some of these
Yes.
bootleggers, they were not quite a legitimate business, and so you would have like Toho,
Yep.
who found it worthwhile to come all the way to New Jersey because people
Mhm.
were selling Godzilla bootlegs. But then,
Mhm.
the IRS closed up a lot, and over the years, there got to be fewer and fewer people selling bootlegs at these conventions.
I think it was at Chiller. I think Chiller. These 3 Japanese gentlemen in business suits were walking around. It's like, who are they? Because usually it's a convention. You don't see guys with shirts and ties. But
Right,
it's like,
yeah,
it turns out they're from Toho. So it's
yep,
like, oh, so we were just kind of trying to just like, cover it up quick. Just cover up the tapes, cover up the merchandise. But
yeah. I bought a cool Doctor Who T-shirt, the classic, Tom Baker era logo, which is like one of my favorite things.
oh
I mean, I
yeah,
wasn't even really watching Doctor Who at this time. This was like mid '90s, but well, there wasn't really much of a reason to buy Doctor Who um, bootlegs. I'd seen
no,
most of them on television and stuff, but seeing that T-shirt, that was great. But and at the time, I think there was one Doctor Who convention in LA, which
yes,
continued for a long time. The Gallifrey one, right?
I think it's still going. I think next year might be its last year,
Yeah, they did announce
2026.
it was ending, but yeah, that's I remember reading about that back before the internet, back during the years when Doctor Who wasn't being shown, and it was a very lonely fandom.
It was, yeah, it was just kind of this
And
obscure thing that was
I
on.
didn't have the
Yeah,
money to fly to LA to go to a Doctor Who convention, so
no, I didn't either. Believe me, I would love to go. I've
yeah.
gone.
Oh yeah. But Bob Baker and Dave Martin. I think this is the first episode we've watched on Code Rad, written by that writing team. Haven't thought about those names in years before I saw them in the credits for this, and it was like, wow. They wrote a lot of classic episodes. I definitely knew those names back in the day.
Yeah, no, I remember them too. Yeah, and I would say a pretty well-written story. I wouldn't say it's Pertwee's best, but I still enjoyed it just for the the look and the performances.
Mm-hmm.
And I did kind of like how with Joe, it's like it's too dangerous, stay here. And she's like, nah.
Yeah.
She just sneaks off and goes into the colon ship or
Yeah.
I guess the whole entire I guess everything was made of everything what we saw was Axon.
Right. Yeah, it's all just like one big organism. That was kind of cool, kind of scary. Since you bring up Joe, one of the things that stood out for the episode for me that I really liked was Joe sees the axons as they appear as like these gross parasite
Yes.
worm monsters, and the gold axons come and say, "Oh, that was just a hallucination you had from the radiation," and the doctor says, "Oh yes, clearly that's all it was." But then later on, he tells Joe, "Oh, of course I believed you. I always believed you." I thought that was nice that he had that trust in
Yes.
his companion. He wasn't just going along with like, "Oh yeah, you just had a hallucination." He was just pretending in front of the
Yeah.
axons, but he's like, "Oh yeah, I always believed you." I thought that was a nice touch. But then again, like an episode or two later, I think he slaps her.
I think she's just having kind of like a nervous, like a breakdown. So,
She
yeah.
is getting kind of hysterical, and because everything is going crazy, it's kind of hard to tell. And the doctor is trying to calm her down. I think he might slap her. I'm not sure, but
That's it. That scene from Airplane. It's like it's like
yeah,
get a hold of yourself. It's like
yeah.
and there's a whole line of people like going to slap her with the guys holding clubs and blackjacks and whatnot.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, I've seen that happen in TV and movies ever since I was a little kid. I've never had an opportunity to do that in real life.
Get a hold of yourself.
Yeah.
Ow. And this was Pertwee's second season, season 8, and
Okay.
every story had the master.
Right. Oh, this might be the first Roger Delgado episode we have viewed
I
on
think it
Code
is.
Red. So that
Yeah, I
was
think it
nice
is.
to see him. He's great in it.
He is. Yeah, he really was.
Had some
Um,
action scenes. This episode had a lot more stunt work than the average
yes.
Doctor Who episode. And yeah, not too common to see the master jumping onto the side of a military truck
Yes.
and
Going
then
through an underpass.
hypnotizing the driver through the mirror, the rear view mirror. That was pretty cool.
That was very clever. Um, yeah, sadly he left us too soon. He was filming a movie in Turkey,
Mm.
and the guy I understand Turkey. Well, I haven't been there. Ed's been there, and he said that yeah, Turkey is a very mountainous country. But you think, how do you drive off the edge of a cliff? It's just like you think you see that coming. It's like okay, break, but
Oh, I can imagine it happening. Yeah, I've been in plenty of places where it's kind of scary. And who knows, the brakes on Turkish cars back in the 70s might not, probably didn't have anti-lock braking technology and ABS and all that. I could totally imagine that happening.
so 1973. So yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. But
When I think about, how much better brakes are in cars now than they were like in 1989 when I first started driving, or
oh
late
wow,
80s, like, wow, you think about what brakes were like and just everything about cars in 1973, especially in Europe, you know, unless you were driving a Mercedes or a Porsche or something like that.
yeah, right. But I know John Pertwee became very close with Roger Delgado, and I
Oh,
know when
really?
yeah, they're very close. And when he died, then he took it pretty seriously, took it to heart, and yeah, I can see
Hmm.
definitely why he would. They had great chemistry together, the two of them. But
Oh, for sure. Yeah. A great hero villain team.
they wanted a Moriarty for the Doctor's Holmes. So yeah, so
Yes. Hmm.
that was their But he's a very, very well written character. He's got motivation. Very polite villain, but he will kill you if he gets a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. But yeah, he was pronounced. I think apparently in an interview that was a major reason why he decided to leave the show. Was no more Roger Delgado, so he figured, well,
Oh wow.
yeah, I'm gonna get going.
Yeah, because
Probably
he
the
was.
money too.
Yeah, I mean, John Pertwee was the longest serving doctor at that point. When he went 5 years compared to
Yeah,
3 years each
yeah,
for Troughton and Hartnell. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Um, yeah, no, five. I thought it was pretty. Yeah, 5 years, 5 seasons. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's any other takeaways from the. We mentioned about the stunt work about the guy. This one guy, he says, "No, Brigadier, you stay here. It's my plan. I'm going to take care." And he puts on the radiation-proof helmet, but there's like
mm.
nothing covering the eyes, or I think it's just like a bag, and like it's like something else, some cloth. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go in the radioactive zone.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then we see him him get blown back. The guy does like a flip
That's
over
right.
the.
Yeah. Yeah, big improvement over the Troughton years, because yeah, we've watched episodes where you could see the wire clipped to the stunt man's like back a belt loop, and,
Whoop.
or even as just like the Cyberman picks him up. So yeah,
Yes.
some like this the stunt work that like really stood out to me first was first episode. We're introduced to this bum just bicycling around. There's like this
Yes.
bleak looking England, as which also ties into like another theme of this episode about just the state of England and its politics and stuff. But we have like the dirtiest, bummiest looking bum riding a bike around, I guess, southern England. And like there's even trash just strewn about. The trash is like so bad that like even the bike is even below this bum. He looks at the bike, he examines it, and then like throws it on the ground. And then later on, he goes and rides the bike straight down a steep hill into a big puddle, a small pond.
Yes.
Which is not something, I mean, I imagine with like, the BBC, everyone is union and everything. That's not normally just something you have an actor. That was like some pretty impressive stunt work for Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And especially since it was clearly winter, maybe the guy had like a rubber suit on underneath the bum costume, but to go careening down this hill and splash into the ponds, that was a pretty good stunt. And I noticed something in the closing credits I never saw before. There was a credit that said "Action by Havoc."
I saw that. I wasn't sure what they meant by that. Yes.
I wonder if like this was like a rare episode that like hired like a stunt firm. Maybe Havoc was some like firm that hired out stuntmen, because I had already noticed the stunt work in this episode before I saw that, and so I just put two and two together. Maybe, yeah, it'll be interesting to watch other Pertwee episodes to see if Havoc did action in other episodes. But yeah, we both noticed there were some serious stunts in this episode, in this storyline.
Yeah, some very well done stunts, and
yeah.
I think I haven't been there yet. Hopefully next year, but I'm told England, it rarely snows. It gets cold, but doesn't snow that often. Does that sound true?
Yeah. They don't get accumulation of any serious amount, except for very rarely. I think the winter I spent there, I think maybe you just got some flurries with I don't remember there being any accumulation whatsoever,
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Yeah, I remember it being damp and rainy in winter, but no serious snow.
Yeah, I think James, my friend James, I think you met him once. He's from Bristol, but yeah. I said, "Does it ever snow?" He's like, "No, not really. No."
Yeah.
No, which I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think I think English people that want to go do snow recreation in the snow. You go to Scotland, to the mountains there. I think that's what you got to
Right.
do.
Or if you got some more money, go to Sweden or Denmark or
Oh,
Iceland or
sure.
Finland
Yeah.
or just
Yeah.
Norway. But
Oh, yeah.
Scotland, it was probably a lot closer and cheaper.
Yeah.
Scotland.
Uh, so, I mean, oh wait, one thing I liked, I thought this was kind of a subtle joke. I thought
Uh-huh.
when the Axons are demonstrating the Axonite, and they pull out a frog, and they're like,
Yes.
"We assume this is one of your food animals." I think that must have been a dig at the French, because I think the English call the French frogs just like Americans do.
Yes.
And that,
Yes.
for just of all the animals they could have gotten and say, this is your food animal, a frog. I think that had to be like a poke at the French.
It probably was.
Had to be.
I did not think about that, but yeah. The English and French, don't
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't get along as I and I can I get it. I get it. Yeah. But yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. That's a pretty I think probably um, I
That,
did not even think
and
about that. No.
yeah, the other thing I found striking was yeah, the political. I think a lot of old episodes of Doctor Who were kind of subversive. This one guy, Chin, he's
Yes.
like, he's portrayed as a complete buffoon.
Yes.
They don't even really, as far as I could tell, they don't really say who he is. They have him talking to the minister, which I
Yes.
assume is prime minister. So he's like a really
Yes. Yeah.
high up guy in the government, but he's portrayed as like a complete buffoon who,
Yes.
is obviously, not as, not as, doesn't have as much authority as the brigadier. The brigadier is like the hero, the guy you can depend on, whereas the guy from the British government was portrayed as just a dummy.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I thought it was a little interesting because brigadier represents a United Nations
Yes.
organization. This the colon crashes in England. The Axonite is in England. They all think that it's going to be this miracle element that provides endless energy and everything. And the brigadier is like, no, you have to hand this over to us. And I'm thinking, well, why is that? It's in England. It crashed in England. It should belong to England, which, so just an interesting little aspect of the writing, I thought.
So we want big frogs too. It's ours.
Yeah.
He was a bureaucrat, and I think you see a lot of those
Yeah.
in Pertwee's era. Just people just higher positions of authority, but just don't really want. It's like, I don't want to do anything. Just so, I think you do see that a lot in the in this 70s era, especially Pertwee's era, and also with the ecology. And we mentioned about the trash. That was a big problem in England with the pollution and litter
Sure.
and just like and
Yeah.
I think all over the world probably, but I see that reflected in there too. Let's
Definitely. Yeah.
see. There's the American guy they put in there, Filer. I'm
That was
listening. It's like,
interesting. Yeah.
well, I'm listening. It's like he's not American. I have a feeling he's not. And
No,
sure enough,
once or twice, I thought it sounded like a Scottish accent kind of slipped out.
close. He's turns out he's Welsh.
Is he? Okay.
And he's still alive. Apparently, he's like 80.
Oh, really?
He's still alive. Yeah, he's still going. But
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that the American, I assumed he was CIA. He was kind of treated more respectably than the British politician guy. He wasn't a buffoon. He didn't do anything particularly stupid or anything like that. He was quite sensible. I thought they killed him at one point, but he was just in a coma. They're like, oh, he's in a coma. Let's pick him up and carry him over our shoulders. Like, oh yeah, I'm sure that's a good idea.
Well, yeah. When there's someone's in a coma, you can move. I'm sure, totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally fine. Get the Sharpie. Yeah, they kind of gave like a New York accent too, as I recall.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what they were going for. Yeah, I liked it when brigadier said something like, "Oh, he's driving one of those big Yankee jobs."
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing the whole car, but it kind of looked like my first car. It was a Ford Galaxy '69, and I think they just kind of showed the headlights. But I thought that was interesting because, yeah, obviously, American cars were very distinct from English cars, especially in the '70s. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, drive on the
Right.
steering column's on the left, not the right. It's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. But yeah, like is a big Yankee job.
Yes. Big Yeki drop it. It's like New York.
Yeah.
Um hey, I'm driving here.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, Filer was a good character. Did he ever come back in the Pertwee years?
no, I don't think so. No, I think
Yeah, I
just
think
a one and
so.
done.
Yeah. He would have been a cool recurring character.
Yeah, yeah. Next American companion we get would be Perry, but
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um let's see. I'm trying to think if there's
Yeah.
anything
Doctor's never had
else.
a Canadian companion, did he?
I don't think so. No, I guess he could have like a
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity.
got like lumberjack overalls and always saying you know, and always saying I'm sorry, sorry. Just always apologizing. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah.
What's a little boot? They can get one of the get Dave Thomas or Rick Moranis to play a Canadian.
Well, yeah. When I think of Canada, that's the first thing I think of the Mackenzies.
Yes. How's it going,
Yeah.
Great movie, Strange Brew.
hmm
The MGM line, there's a shot of the MGM line, it just burps.
Right. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen Strange Brew in a long time.
Uh, um, it feels like I think I'm missing something. Oh, so I can never really tell if the Time Lords took away or messed with his mind, so he wouldn't remember how to travel in time, or they took one of the parts of the TARDIS away. I was never sure if
Yeah, from this episode, it
um
seemed like both.
yeah, it was that certain part was missing.
Because yeah,
The
the Master had to fix the TARDIS. It looked like,
yeah,
but then the Doctor also said, like, they erased my knowledge of dematerialization theory, something like that. So
yeah.
I thought that was a good touch. The fact that the Time Lords had, installed a feature in the TARDIS to make it always return to Earth, that
Yes.
kind of saved the Doctor's life, possibly in this episode, by taking him out of the time loop. I thought that was kind of a cool twist.
Well, yeah. It's like, nope, you're stuck here. It's
Yeah.
and I think he did try to get away though. He tried to leave Earth for. He's like, oh, he came back. It's like, not really. Just he was trying to get away,
Yeah.
but he couldn't.
Yeah, I recall. I think that happened a few times in the Pertwee era, right? He would try to,
Yeah, he tried
without
to
him
leave, and
trying to.
he just couldn't. He couldn't. He
Yeah,
tried. It's like, nope,
yeah.
grounded. Um, literally grounded.
hmm
Um, let's see, and the classic. It seems like I'm a galactic yo-yo, or I'm some sort of galactic yo-yo.
Right. Yeah, I thought that line was kind of a groaner, but whatever.
Well, I kind of like it. It's just kind of
Yeah.
yeah. But
All
yeah,
right.
overall, I enjoyed this episode.
Oh, it was
Not quite
great.
as
Yeah.
fast, but yeah,
Yeah.
still very
Yeah.
good.
Totally summarizes the Doctor Who experience in my. It's weird. It's scary. Um, can you imagine as a kid, like, not only were those parasite monsters horrible looking, but they blow you up. It's like they shoot you with, like, one of their worm tendrils, and yeah, boom. That was, man, I would have been pretty traumatized if I saw that when I was a kid.
Gotta be scared. I was scared of the lobster claws just on this like random wall, just popping out, like just of the and just holding you there, not really, and
Oh
you know,
God, yeah. When I was a kid, I saw a movie. It was I think it might have been an adaptation of, like, the Arthur Conan Doyle story, The Lost World or something. I
Oh,
might be
okay.
wrong about that, but there was a scene where people are going through like a really tight cave and all these hands come out of the walls and grab them. That's
Oh,
pretty
jeez.
scary. So yeah.
That is, yeah. That is.
So
Eek.
yeah, so I got that kind of vibe from the tentacles and yeah, lobster claws coming out of the wall. Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean that would have been like a great 70s horror movie if it had a bit higher budget.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah,
Well
as
said.
it is, yeah, just a prime example of what Doctor Who can do, what to expect from the show.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I could post a link to the episode in the comments somewhere, so people can watch it and see what they think.
Yeah, yeah, seek it out. Classic episodes of
Yeah.
Doctor Who are all over the place. They're easy to
Yes.
see now. So,
Yes, which
all right.
I'm
So
very
I think we've
fortunate.
yeah, it's a great time to be alive.
Indeed.
All right. Well, great talking to you. I think we've exhausted all our
Yeah,
topics.
I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah.
All right. Well, nice to see you, Jim. Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Oh, before we go, one last thing. Hey, don't you have a comic book out too? You got a comic book, right?
Yeah, I've been remiss about promoting it. I will put a link at the bottom underneath the video, and issue 2 of Interplanet is in production. Need to start thinking about promoting and the logistics of how we're going to sell that and everything. But Interplanet #1 is available on Fund My Comic. I will leave a link. Thank you for reminding me of that, Jim. I have not been showing my ads in the beginning, but yes, science fiction fantasy comic book with some espionage. Check it out. That sounds good to you.
I've read it. It's very, very good. So definitely do yourself a favor and get yours today.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
No problem.
All right. And we will be back soon. Bye, everybody.
Hey, take care, everybody. Arrivederci.